Have you ever felt like the world has been lurching from one crisis to another? A pandemic, then runaway inflation, now wars and food shortages. What if I told you this isn't a random series of unfortunate events? What if it's a meticulously planned timeline, a roadmap to a future you never signed up for? This is the Great Reset timeline, and the final stages are not just coming, they've already begun. Let's start at Stage 1, the pandemic. In October 2019, just weeks before the first cases emerged, the World Economic Forum, Johns Hopkins, and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation ran Event 201, a simulation of a global coronavirus pandemic. A coincidence? Maybe. But in June 2020, WEF founder Klaus Schwab declared that the crisis presented a narrow window of opportunity to reflect, reimagine, and reset our world. The next month, he published his book COVID-19, The Great Reset, laying out the plan. While global lockdowns crushed small businesses, tech giants like Amazon and Google saw record profits. We were conditioned to accept government mandates, QR codes, and constant surveillance. This accelerated the digital transition by years, creating the infrastructure for what was to come and increasing our dependency on government aid. That led directly to Stage 2, the inflation crisis. Remember 2021 and 2022. Inflation in the U.S. hit a 40-year high. This wasn't an accident. It was the predictable result of central banks printing trillions of dollars through so-called quantitative easing. They deliberately flooded the economy with money. Then, geopolitical events and sanctions on major energy exporters caused gas and electricity prices to skyrocket. So-called supply chain disruptions continued long after they should have ended. The result? A massive wealth transfer. If you had savings in the bank, inflation ate it away. But if you owned asset stocks, real estate, or wealth, exploded. This wasn't just about money. It was about making cash worthless, pushing everyone toward digital payments and creating the public justification for a stable solution. And that solution is Stage 3, central bank digital currencies, or CBDCs. This is happening right now. As we speak, 134 countries, representing 98% of the world's GDP, are developing their own digital currencies. Countries like the Bahamas, Nigeria, and Jamaica already have them. China's digital yuan is expanding to millions of users. And the European Central Bank is pushing for a digital euro by 2029. But this isn't just digital money like you have in your bank app. This is programmable money. It means the government could restrict what you buy, where you buy it, and when. They could program your money to expire, forcing you to spend it. They could freeze your account instantly for any reason they see fit. The WEF is actively promoting this, even publishing a policymaker toolkit to help governments roll it out. But a CBDC is useless without a way to tie it to you personally. That's Stage 4, digital identity systems. By 2026, the EU Digital Identity Wallet will be mandatory for member states. The UK announced in September 2025 that all workers will need a digital ID. The United Nations Sustainable Development Goal 16.9 aims for a legal identity for all by 2030, which critics say is a framework for universal biometric tracking. We're talking about a fusion of our physical, digital, and biological selves, just as Klaus Schwab predicted. The WEF has even published documents on the Internet of Bodies, implantable and wearable devices that continuously collect your biometric data. The vaccine passports we saw during the pandemic were the trial run, establishing the precedent that your health status could determine your access to society. To push these systems into place, you need a crisis big enough to make people demand them. Welcome to Stage 5, systemic crises happening from 2024 to 2027. For years, the WEF has run CyberPolygon, a simulation of a catastrophic cyberattack on global supply chains. Schwab himself has warned of a cyberattack that would bring a complete halt to power supply, transportation, hospital services. At the same time, we're facing a manufactured global food crisis, with hundreds of millions facing acute hunger. They're pushing concepts like personal carbon allowances, where your ability to travel or even eat is tied to your carbon footprint. They're promoting 15-minute cities, which sound convenient but could easily become digital enclosures, restricting your movement. And through ESG mandates, they are controlling which companies get investment, forcing compliance with their agenda. This all leads to the endgame. Stage 6, total integration from 2027 to 2030 and beyond. This is where all the pieces come together. Remember the infamous WEF phrase, "You'll own nothing, and you'll be happy." This is the shift from private ownership to a subscription-based society where you rent everything from a handful of megacorporations. Your CBDC will be linked to your digital ID and a social credit score. If you behave, you can participate in society. If you step out of line, you're cut off. This is what they call stakeholder capitalism, an economic model where your individual rights are secondary to the interests of a collective group of stakeholders, governments, NGOs, and corporations. The final goal? The Fourth Industrial Revolution's transhumanist endpoint, which explicitly talks about challenging what it means to be human through neural implants and human-machine integration. Notice how everything converges on the year 2030. The UN's goals, the EU's digital ID, the climate targets. It's all heading for the same deadline. This isn't a conspiracy theory. This is their own plan, published in their own documents and announced at their own conferences. The timeline is accelerating. The question is no longer if this is happening, but what are we going to do about it? The first step is awareness. Understand the stages, see the connections, and share this information. The future isn't written yet, but the ink is drying fast. Thanks for watching. If you found this valuable, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss what comes next.